Hi everyone, I'm Scott and welcome to another episode of The Unlikely Beak. So it's been about a month or so since I've updated everyone on the apiary. As you can see, it's growing. Of course, apiaries grow. That's just kind of the nature of it. So basically what happened here in the apiary is, and from what I understand, many other people's apiaries as well, is things just kind of happened a little earlier than they should have or they were supposed to. In our case, our bees were trying to swarm and, preparing to swarm. So we did our best to try to hang on to as many colonies as we could. So that was a combination of splits and a few captures of swarms just behind the apiary in the woodpile. Unfortunately, today is really kind of these colonies' last day. I've come to open them up and look for evidence of a queen. So today is their last chance to prove their worthiness before we decide what we're doing, whether we are combining some colonies along with some donor brood to see if they are successful at requeening again, or we're hopefully not going to find evidence of laying workers in there and we'll have to shake them out. A lot of talking, a lot of building up to it, and I'm not 100% sure how much filming I'm going to do today. It just depends if I find something interesting or not. But as always, if I do, I'll be sure to switch the camera on. So I'm going to get everything set up down here, get that smoker rolling, and I'll be right back. So we're here at Hive 1, which is, our original colony here. For those of you who have never seen a drone before, that is a drone. That is a boy bee. He has no stinger. And here's another one. They have no stingers. They do not do anything in the colony except for mate and eat. So, of course, this box did not have a queen the last time I was in here, and unfortunately, either did Hive 3. Now, they were not part of the splits or the swarms. I think they have just simply gone queenless. So it's unfortunate because this back row here is our legacy row and has always been good producers for us and good stock of bees. But we're going to get into those two boxes and just kind of see what's going on with them before we get into these. The ones on the ends were splits and the one in the middle was a swarm. And then this one here, the one at the very end is empty. This one here was a swarm, and this one here was a swarm. So, and then we had a split back there next to the end. And I believe we had a split here, third one from the end. But you can see here we've got a good 3 frames of bees, and they're fairly quiet. I don't know. We'll get in there and we'll see what we see, but I'm not holding out much hope. I've got a pleasant surprise here in Hive 3. We've spotted her. So here she is. Hopefully we won't lose sight of her when we grab the camera. There she is. She looks like a pretty good queen. Not the biggest, fattest one I've ever seen, but it's okay. We've seen enough. We're going to put them back together very gently and move on. Last time I was here, both, like I said, 1 and 3 did not have queen, but they did have cells. So looks like our queen made it out and mated and got back into this one. So one of the good things is that if we find that one of our other splits or whatever are not viable, but they have some comb, some good frames with good comb on it, we will definitely be bringing that comb over here to hive 3 and giving that queen more ready-made comb so that she can start building this colony back up. So, all right, well, I'm gonna put everything together and move on. So this here is a swarm I caught about 2 weeks ago, maybe. And it was back there on the side of that fence, right up against that wood pile, which, you know, created about 10 billion places for the queen to run and hide in. But fingers crossed that we've got a laying queen in there. I do not think that I got that queen, even though I spent 7.5 hours trying to get her. But they did have brood from another colony, so they had an opportunity to make another one. So let's see what's going on in here with them. And if you can see here, there is 2 queen cells there, and 1 is chewed out. So they might have a queen in here. She might be in the whole mating process. We'll see. But clearly after 7.5 hours, I did not get the queen. I really thought I had gotten her there at the end. This is probably gonna be one of my longest videos unless I find a way to creatively condense it into something worth watching. However, so as we were working our way down, again, just checking what was a split slash swarm. After we finished here and we saw our queen and stuff in here, so we moved on to the next box, and this is where it got interesting. So what you see here is 5 frames of the bottom box. This is their top box, and they had a rapid round with food and they didn't build any comb. Very disappointing, right? So there's a reasonable amount of bees here on the bottom. And then what I found was, I found 4 frames with lots of queen cells on them, as well as this frame here with 1 or 2 queen cells on them. Of course, their swarm cells are at the bottom, so I've had to kind of rig this pro nuke up here with 2 bars here to kind of raise the frames up a little bit so that I don't damage those queen cells. So it's kind of a blessing, maybe, right? So as I had mentioned, these other colonies just seemed like they were queenless. So these queen cells could definitely bring them back into the viability side of things. So, of course, I wanted to find all the queen cells in here. So as I was going through, I ran into this frame right here, and it had a queen cell on it, actually 2 queen cells that were emerged. And I immediately started looking for a virgin queen or a mated queen, and I did not spot her before I heard her piping. So, and then I did spot her. So, so she's definitely in there, and then I pulled the frame out again and I spotted her again. And she's continuing to run around on that frame piping. So I'm just gonna make sure that I don't think there's any more queen cells on that frame that are capped. If there are, I'll take them out or maybe she'll take them out, but either way, so I'm gonna kind of close them back up for the moment and then move on to these other colonies to see whether or not I can use these, queen cells in here. It could be an absolute blessing, or it may be the unfortunate act of a beekeeper destroying perfectly good and perfectly viable queen cells. Now that's also given that she has not destroyed them already by stinging her sister through the side, which is one of the things that they do. So I definitely will have to examine those queen cells maybe a little bit harder before I put them in there. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that information. It's never, ever, ever a dull day in the bee yard. Oh man, what a day. Okay, so if you remember, I said I was coming down here to check on these 3 colonies here in the front and a few other ones here mixed in that were a collection of splits, very early splits, and a couple of swarms. And to my absolute surprise, because I've been checking on them for the last couple of weeks now, and I was really certain today I was going to have to do the dreaded thing, which was either combine some of the colonies, which isn't so bad, but then of course I was going to have to find brood in other colonies to give to them so that they could make a queen. And hopefully that brood would hold off any of them going laying worker on me, or I was just going to have to shake them out because they were already laying worker. But to my absolute surprise, all but one had a queen. So I am super happy about that. The other thing is I did find in what I've identified as hive 13, which is this smaller hive here in the middle row or second row, I did find a ton of queen cells. I found 4 or 5 frames in there with a bunch of queen cells on it. But then I also heard the queen piping. So there was a virgin queen in there. So I was able to isolate the frames that had the queen cells on them. And of course I was going through the other boxes to see whether or not I needed to use those queen cells in these splits and stuff that I was kind of sure didn't have a queen, but turns out they did. So then I thought, okay, great, now I'm stuck here with a bunch of queen cells and I don't have any use for them. Now, you know, if I had unlimited space here, I could definitely have used those. And I guess the plan is that I might be able to fit just one more row in there, but I'm really trying not to because this is already a lot of work. So I really don't want more colonies to take care of. But anyway, it worked out well. I did find one. I went back through all my boxes to make sure that everybody was queen right, and all but one seemed to be queen right. So I went ahead and used some of those cells I gave a frame of those cells to that box. And then this box here I had set up a couple of weeks ago because I had the space. So I set that box up there and it was empty. So I took another frame with some cells on there and the bees that were on those frames, and stuck them in there. And there's some brood on that frame as well. So there'll definitely be more bees in there here in a little bit. Of course, they have food and pollen and everything else. So hopefully the queen will emerge from one of those cells, fly out, get mated, come back. And that will be another colony that we can get through the winter. And then hopefully it will be a production colony for us next year. So I have 8 honey supers on the colonies. I've identified 2 other colonies that are going to be getting a honey super probably later this week. And then I think that's probably going to be it, other than maybe some of the colonies that currently have supers. They may get to the point when we get further into the honey flow that they need a second super, or they end up finishing that super, and I, process it and bring it back to them, and they fill it again. So, but otherwise, I think everything is good, and the outcome from today definitely way better than I was anticipating, especially with these splits. So, so very, very happy about it. This is the doggy that showed up here on the farm over the winter. I don't know what his real name is, and I haven't had a chance to ask, but I've been calling him Rex, of course. So Rex and I are becoming pals, and Rex comes down here for dog bones. But the problem is that I have my car today because gas is crazy expensive, and I didn't need the extra space for the truck. So I don't have the bones in my car, I have the bones in my truck. So I'm probably gonna get barked at. Probably gonna get barked at here as soon as he figures out that I'm leaving without giving him bones. Because I always give him bones right before I leave. And when he discovers or figures out that I'm out of my bee suit and and everything's put away and I'm about to get in that car and leave, he starts barking at me. So he lets me know that he's not happy that I do not have any bones for him that day. But anyway, so that's it. Very good news here in the bee yard. Everything is going well, and it's shaping up to be hopefully a great season, definitely better than last season. So I think that's gonna do it for today's episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.